number 2. And let's see how, are we streaming? Oh, we are, I think we are. Are we on? You guys give a thumbs up or something if we're on. Let's see here. We are on. Wow, I love it. Okay, so you guys can probably see that we're fired up for you today. And if you can't see it, just trust me, we are fired up for you today. So I wanted to come on just a little bit early just to look at you and to stare at you and to ask you, did anybody actually go out and buy these little Blu-ray, Bluetooth glasses things? I mean, because if you did, you're amazing students. It was kind of a joke, but I actually had some people that went out and bought these things, and they were like, Jamil, you said success leaves clues. These are Ezra's, so my 9-year-old son. But if you went
it's
out,
7 o'clock.
If you went out and actually bought this, shoot me a note, man. I'll send you a book or something because you're an amazing student. You guys, we are so fired up for you. It is day 2, and we are ready to rock and roll. What was yesterday like for you? Go on and put it in the chat in the comments. What was yesterday like for you? What did you get out of yesterday? More importantly, what did you put into yesterday? You know, the great thing about what we're doing right now is we're going to give you the tools. I made you a promise. On the video, the day before we actually got kicked off, I talked about a covenant between you and I, between you and the group, between you and all of the presenters and speakers that are coming on. And that was that we've made a declaration that we're going to kind of tell you what to do step by step. Now, the beauty of it, this is where the miracle happens. I can think about going into my field and I can hope that like avocados are actually going to appear, avocado trees. I can do that. I could actually be really, really, really good at it. But unless I actually walk out there and start like planting seeds so that eventually trees and fruit and all that other stuff can sprout, then it's never going to happen. So I could get on a training every single day and listen to someone talk about how they were amazing at planting avocado trees, of getting fruit, of giving away tons and tons of avocados. I could listen to that. I could listen to all of the theory. Here's what I've learned about life, honestly, in the last 8 years. And this is why one of the universities won't bring me back to come speak in their marketing classes. Because oftentimes, you know, we get really excited about theory, the what if. To sit in the classroom or to sit on the training and hear all these amazing things. But not until you actually go and do it do you actually start the learning process. And so this is an agreement between us that the doing process is the miracle working process. It is the action that comes from this. So what did you put into yesterday that later down the line, these little seeds of avocado trees that you planted yesterday, so that down the line, 12 days from now, 20 days from now, 2 months from now, a year from now, you start to see the fruit that you went out and planted. I think is kind of amazing. You know, before we jump in, and I want to bring on, today is going to be crazy. Let me just tell you, you want to take massive notes. This series is called Massive Momentum. You're going to want to take massive notes today. We are going to tell you the how-to. Many people over the last 8 years will ask me, Jamil, how do you go and talk to people? What should you say? How do you put yourself out there? Don't worry about it. We got you. That's what today is about. So you want to take a ton of notes so that you can get that information. We agree? And we have some amazing speakers that are coming on. So I want to tell you about just kind of how I think about this thing. So I was thinking about, you know, this series. I was thinking about massive momentum. What do these guys need? Okay, Presidential Director Josh Bamba came on yesterday, and he said by a certain day of the month, you want to reach your goals. What day is that? Put it in the chat in the comment. Fill it up. Did anyone miss it? Don't worry, we'll remind you right now. What day? Why would you suppose he would say that? I mean, he's a fairly successful guy, right? He's a handsome guy. He's a down to earth good guy. I think he has all of our best wishes. Why do you suppose he would say the 20th? Why not the last day of the month? And so what we wanted to do was start to establish a different mindset, even for your brand new coach. Welcome. So I started thinking about it. I said, okay, massive. What does that mean? And I started looking up the word massive, large, heavy, enormous, huge, gigantic, particularly successful and influential. We all know that's Karen Elstrom. Impressive or imposing. We know that's Eric Boyette. So massive. Okay. And then I started thinking about impact. What does impact mean? So I looked up the word and it says collision, crash, smash, clash, effect, influence, impression, footprint, results, aftermath. And then I started thinking about it. Okay, so I said, what is this whole series about? In fact, what are you about as an Optavia coach? And you may not even know this about yourself. And so the way that I like to think about it is we're going to leave an enormous footprint in the world by helping people change their lives. Let me say that again. Massive impact. What does that mean? That we, all of us collectively, are going to leave an enormous, massive footprint impact in the world by helping people change their life. Isn't that a noble cause? Isn't that a reason to why you would want to wake up and be fired up about getting into action? Isn't that something you could stand behind? I was a coach for about a month and a half. I had already quit by this point, by the way. I started coaching, I think it was about May 17th. I quit coaching on like June 1st, 2012. That's not that long of a time to stick with something than to give up, right? But why do people do that? You guys, why do people do that? I don't even think it was 2 full weeks. I couldn't even go 2 full weeks. So I started coaching and I quit after like 13 days. I didn't even make it to, why do people do that? Why do we give up on ourselves? One reason why I did is because I didn't do what you already did, which is I didn't even know what I wanted, you guys. I never wrote down any goals. I didn't have a vision for a life I wanted to create. If you told me you could create what you wanted to, I would have looked at you sideways. I would have said, that's not possible. What are you talking about? People don't do that. Maybe in some la la land you live in, but not in the real world. So I quit. That's one of the reasons why. And then I went to National Convention. Presidential Director Karen Elstrom talked about it. And when I showed up there, I started to understand this thing called Optavia. I started to understand massive momentum. I started to understand enormous footprint. And I thought it was a worthy cause, much, much more worthy than what I was doing. And what if I went out there every single day? And what if I helped people believe in themselves again? That felt kind of cool. And so that's where we're at. You guys are part of something that's so unique. There's never been anything like it. You're doing the right thing at the right time with the right people. And so I'm grateful for you. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to kick this thing off. If you are ready, go on and put hashtag ready in the chat in the comments. So we have had a crop of coaches over the last 90 days, you guys, that have defied odds. I mean, I thought that I used to do kind of cool stuff. It is nothing compared to what many of these coaches are doing. So you heard from one yesterday, Priscilla Nelson. Wasn't it so cool to hear from her and get kind of concrete steps? It wasn't theory. This woman's doing it. She's out there doing it step by step. And so I want to introduce you guys to another one of these unicorns. and really embody what she is doing, but more importantly, why she's doing it. And so we have seen Erica, I'm going to get it right, Ostashevsky, just come into Optavia and just literally create a new lane. And I'm so excited for you guys to learn from her today. So Erica, can you come on and share with us for a bit?
I'd love to. Good morning, guys. I'm Erica. Um, I started with Optavia. I started my journey in mid-February, and I started coaching I think the last day of February. So March was kind of my month to gain some momentum, and I was still at my full-time corporate job then. So I just started talking to people. I was super passionate about the way I saw the program changing my life. So I just began to share it with people. And within 3 months, just talking to people about both the program and the business side, I was able to um, bring on about 17 new sponsored 17 coaches, and then grow my front line to 25,000 in front line. And so when Jamil asked me to talk, he was asking kind of how and why do you do it? And there's a lot of, so many things went through my mind, but the big thing I want to talk about is one, your passion. I know y'all have all heard the quote, and every time I hear it, it hits home. If you don't build your own dream, someone else will hire you to build theirs. And I think about that a lot because I was very successful in corporate America, but it wasn't necessarily my dream or my passion. I made a whole lot of other people a whole lot of money, and I made myself a good living by default from that, but it didn't set my soul on fire. Um, and the longer I did it, the more at some point it stopped requiring growth. And I could do it on autopilot. So a lot of people, you think that's great. You can earn a 6-figure income on autopilot, and you can show up every day, do what you do, your bills are paid. But inside I was dying. And it doesn't make sense to a lot of people how that is, because a lot of people just think once you get there, that's what you're going for. But my passion, my soul wasn't in it. And then I found Optavia, and I watched my life transform. I saw what it felt like to be healthy, probably for the very first time. I'd lost weight before, but I'd never really been healthy from the inside out, to where I really knew what optimal health was and saw the impact it made in my life. And when you have that kind of transformation, I was talking with Tiffany Tillman last night, and we were doing a meet and greet with her coach's new coach, and we were talking about like how when this impacts you from the inside out, you can't help but want to share it, because you're going to get that chatter, and we'll talk about that in a second. But your testimony defies all chatter when you know it and you're living it in your heart of hearts, and you realize that how much bigger, what better can you share with the rest of the world? How much more of an impact can you make than give somebody their health? That's everything. So I want to talk about kind of the challenges on my way there. And the biggest one, and I know y'all are probably like, she talks about this every time, and you're going to hear me talk about it every time, because it's an everyday challenge. And that is chatter in the mind, because it's not a thing. Just like Jamil said, he started and quit in 2 weeks. I quit every week, at least once. I quit at least once a week on this business. And I say, oh, this is crazy. And then I call, I get my mind right, because then I start to think, this is tough. Well, corporate America was tough. Corporate America was more tough. I was able to leave my job in 3 months, be home with my babies. I have 3 young children. It's great that I can do what I do and then go kiss my baby, have an awesome moment, come back in here. It's everything I ever dreamed of. I have an 8-month-old, and this is the first of 3 kids that I've ever gotten to experience every milestone and be at home and have that bond. It's everything I never did before that I always wanted. So you got to remember your why, and you've got to get back to what brought you on in the first place. But the mind is everything, because you have those days where you think this is tough. Well, okay, so what I do at that point is just the renewing of the mind. So I love The Secret. If you haven't watched The Secret, it's free on Netflix. I watch The Secret at least once a month. I have for 10 years, and there's at least once a month I need to watch it again, because the big takeaway of that every time for me is thoughts become things. Thoughts become things. And why I talk about this every time is that's a daily challenge. Every single day, your thoughts change, and your thoughts control your feelings. So I can guarantee you, when you get in a place where you feel like, I want to quit this business, it's a thought problem, because you're feeling some sort of way, because you're thinking some sort of way. So again, it always goes back to what you're focusing on, because that's what you're going to attract. And that is a constant, everyday thing and discipline. Just like it takes time to learn Optavia and to get your water intake in. This is a training of the mind. It truly is. And it's something you actively work on every single day. But doing that, you will grow. Your business will grow. If you're thinking the thoughts that your business is going to grow, you're going to attract the people and the things you need to grow your business. It really is that simple. So if you haven't watched The Secret, I want you to watch The Secret. The whole thing too, I want to know how many of y'all, drop a 1 in the chat if you are currently at a corporate job and you're looking for more fulfillment than what you get right now at work. I want to know who is looking for more, because that is the bigger picture about, yeah, if you're not building your dream, you're building someone else's. And even if you're making 6 figures or making whatever that monetary number is for you, do you go to bed at night saying, I changed a life today, I'm living my passion? Do you jump out of bed in the morning? Because I didn't. I was before I started Optavia, I was eating like crap. I was drinking wine every night. I was unhappy. I was surviving to get up and go do what looks like such a great life on the outside, but I was miserable. So it all goes back to your why. Why are you here? What do you want? Yes, you're going to have times when things get tough, but here's what you do. You surround yourself with people that understand this law of attraction, that understand that the mental part is everything. And the more trainings that you're on, you're going to hear successful people on these trainings say a lot of the same things. You know why? Because those are the things that make them successful. And it's mind work, and it's being integrated in this community. So I guess the biggest things I want to tell y'all is use your mentors, call them when you're having a tough day, reach out. Don't just reach out. Yes, we want to celebrate your successes, but when you have that day when you think, I want to quit, there's no way I can make this. I'm not going to make the money that I made in corporate America. I'm not going to do this. I have a coach and she doesn't get it. Or there's a million times that these things will come up, but reach out, use the people that are there. This is why we team coach in this company. I have never called someone that I haven't gotten some kind of piece of wisdom that kept me going. And so we want to be there. We want to love on you. We want to help you with this mental thing. When you get in that rut, reach out to the people, your coaches and your coaches' coaches, because they will help you through it. The other thing is just be transparent. Today I feel scattered on this call. Be authentic, because I did a late Coach at 4 call and I was exhausted and went to bed and then set my alarm to get up this morning early and work on the call notes. And I had an 8-month up with an ear infection all night. So things happen, life happens. But that's the thing that I think has made me so successful. I'm very real. I tell people when life happens, because guess what? It's happening to all those people too. Everybody has a real life. That's not what they post on Facebook. So just share your story and share yourself and be authentic. And if you truly have a heart for people and you want to love on other people, this business will set your soul on fire. It will. You just keep going, get your mind in the right place, understand that thoughts become things, and watch The Secret. Those are my big things I feel kind of led to say today. Y'all have a great day.
Oh my gosh, I love you, my friend. So good. You guys dropped 2 or 3 things that you just took away from Erica. I mean, you guys, I got massive notes going on here. The biggest thing is that I got, and Cher, I don't know if you heard this, and I see Jose on the Facebook Live, but she said, I quit on my business every week, at least once a week. And if that is not the truth, man, I don't know what is. But you know what? That really only happens to people who are like striving for something more. I remember years ago, I was talking to my mentor in a group, and I said, dude, I feel like frustrated. I feel like kind of I want to give up. And another coach was like, I never feel that way. And I remember wrestling with that in my mind. And I think I write about it. I think I wrote about it in 12 Shifts. So I remember not understanding it. I was like, man, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And then a couple of years went by and I remembered that. And and it made sense. I understood why. And I write about it in a chapter called Growth Equals Pain. And so anytime you want to grow, you want to stretch for more, you want to become more, Erica talked about, I hit a place to where I could just kind of coast by and be successful. Well, anytime you get in that growth process and you want to actually start doing more with your life or with your business or with your relationship, it's going to start to be painful. And when I realized with that coach, she never felt that because she was never actually striving for much. Crazy, isn't it? So today it's going to be really interesting. You're going to get all the how-tos. We're really going to talk about your story and the power of your story. Someone said yesterday, no one starts this program because Dr. A or Optavia. They started because of you. Your story is the most powerful tool that you have. And if you do not get good with knowing it, with proclaiming it, with professing it, with telling it, you could just wrap it up. It ain't going to happen. How you become extremely successful as a coach is you get really, really, really good with sharing story. So I want to bring on one of the best trainers in all of Optavia. You guys know her. If you don't know, you will in a minute. And introduce you guys to Priscilla Allen, who's really going to teach us and guide us through how to tell your story, how to make connections while you are out there interfacing with the public. So Mrs. Allen, can you
Hi, good
teach
morning.
us this morning?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Erica, that was amazing. You may say you were all scattered, but I have tons of notes. That was so good. Thank you for that. That was so powerful. Like she said, like your thoughts literally, become your feelings, and like what you think about your business, what you think about your story is so powerful. For me in the beginning, as many of you know, because I've trained multiple times, I've shared that I let my story hold me back because I made everything about me. And I would tell Jamil, this is the only time I wish I lost 150 pounds so that I can tell everybody that I have a story. How am I going to go and tell people that, I can help them with a program when they're 200 pounds overweight or whatever, and I kept making this about me. But the thing is, it's not about me. My story can inspire somebody to want to do something, but it's not about me. And so when I started this, I didn't have a weight loss story. I'm very petite. I'm 5'1", 5'1 and a half. I'll own my half. And I weighed 115 pounds when I became a coach. But I saw the vision of this program and I knew I could run with it. And I had a desire for more in my life. Like Erica was saying, corporate is not the end all be all, right? Like that's what society teaches us, that you have to get a degree and you have to go to corporate and they don't tell you about the loans you're going to deal with afterwards. If you're the average American that has to pull out those loans, then you have to work like who knows how many years to pay back those loans, So I didn't know that. And so for me, I hated my corporate job. I hated it with a passion. And I didn't feel fulfilled. I was good in my sales. I mean, I went out there and I was like, selling left and right, and I was so good at it. But then I'd come home and I would tell my husband, there has to be more. There has to be more because this isn't fun. Like this isn't fun. The money was fun. I'd see the paychecks come in and that was fun. But at the end of the day, I just felt like deflated. Like the bank would take everything from me. And like I had no emotions. I didn't feel emotional towards anybody. I didn't feel like I helped anybody, even though they said, oh, we're here to help people. Yeah, right. I was there to try to sell anything I could to anybody so that the bank can grow bigger. So I hated it. So when I became a coach, what held me back a really long time? That I didn't have a weight loss story. And then one time my mentor told me, Priscilla, but you're making this about you and it's not about you. What if you made it about the person you're talking to? But in order for me to talk to somebody, I have to share what I do, right? They have to know my story or they have to know what I share. And so when I'm out in public, everybody, if you have ears, you will know I am a health coach. You will know I have a story. You will know I lost 28 pounds in 13 weeks on our Nursing Mothers Plan. You will know that I have helped thousands of people get healthy. You will know. And so that is the reason why the mailman and his wife and his daughter are on program. That is the reason why one of my coaches is a manager from City National Bank. That is the reason why I have another one, a manager from Wells Fargo, about to sign on because she cannot stand what she's doing, because everybody knows. So sometimes we get cooped up with, but I don't know a lot of people. I don't know a lot of people, but there's a lot of people around you. That's what's amazing, that, you know, you don't have to be stuck in this egg, you know, where it's just like, I don't know anybody else. And so, for example, you know, we have a new coach who came in, and obviously, you know, the chatter started coming in because nobody's signing up right now. And I go to her Facebook page and she has about 183 people. I'm like, girl, you got a massive auditorium and you only have 183 people in there? No. We got to go out and bring more people to your world, bring more people to your auditorium. That's the goal, to bring more people to your auditorium. So when I go out and about and I'm at Macy's and I'm at JCPenney and I'm, you know, at a restaurant or whatever, and I start talking to people, you know what? I'm like, oh my gosh, I love your personality. I think we should connect. Why don't we connect on Facebook? And boom, I bring them to my world. If I don't have an opportunity to share what I do, I bring them into my world. That's what I do, right? If I have an opportunity to share, it depends on the situation, because, you know, sometimes I may find a mom or an individual who's not a mom. I'll give you an example. She's not a mom. She might be someone who is an entrepreneur. She's looking for more in her life. She wants more. I'm not going to tell her, oh, I'm a mom of 3, and that's why I decided to do this. My story is going to gear, because I'm going to find a way that my story is going to connect to hers. So you don't like your job, girl, I've been in your shoes. Trust me, I hated my job, but I found something amazing, so fulfilling, so purposeful. I get to work from home. I get to dictate my time. I travel. I go to Fiji. I have plans for Hawaii. I have plans for this. I have plans for that. I love it. I'm not going to go tell her about my 3 kids, right? Because they're annoying. I love them, but I mean, they are, you know, whatever. But then I find a mom who has kids, the same age as my kids. I'm like, girl, you know what? They are the reason why I do everything. I love them. And I can't imagine somebody sending me pictures of my daughter walking, taking her first steps. I want to be there. I don't want to be in a cubicle while somebody sends me a picture and sends me, you know, and tells me, oh my gosh, look at your daughter, she's walking, right? So your story is going to have to change. And then if somebody needs to lose weight, even if it's somebody that needs to lose like 100 pounds, I've embraced my story with 28 pounds, because you know what? Never minimize 1 pound. I remember at 28 pounds over, when I was about 160, 58, like, almost hovering to 160 with my second child, I remember feeling unattractive. My knees hurt. My back was killing me. I felt like this compared, you know, right beside my husband, like, you know, I felt uncomfortable with him. I had to like loosen all my shirts. Like, I remember that feeling. And whether you need to lose 20 pounds or you need to lose 100 pounds, you feel the same thing. We're all humans. So I will talk about my feelings. I'm not going to talk about my 28 pounds to somebody that needs to lose 200 pounds, but I will be like, you know what? I remember being in an uncomfortable place in my life, and I couldn't stand it. And like, I felt this and I felt that, but I found an incredible program that has changed everything for me. Everything. I love how I feel my skin. I love the habits I've learned. I love that I get to transfer that to my kids. I love that I am the rock that has basically created a ripple effect in my family's life. And now everybody's getting healthy, you know? So your story is going to change and your story is going to evolve. And when you find the opportunity with somebody to connect, you are going to find the angle with them as you ask more questions. Now, that's the most important thing, that you ask questions, that you ask how they're doing, right? I was at Macy's. I shared the story a while ago, but I was at Macy's once, and I started asking the cashier, I was like, how are you? You know, she's like, oh, you know, I'm doing good. I was like, are you doing a full day today? Like, what are you doing? Do you get a percentage off? You know? And so she began to tell me, you know what? Yeah, I'm doing a full day, but I'm so happy. I'm almost done with this. She was like, my knees are killing me, and my house is 2 levels up, and I just can't stand my knees. And oh, wow, what? Well, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what's going on? Well, you know, I have these inflammations around my knees, and clearly I can see, you know, that some habits are not going the right way. So she starts opening up, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I can help you with that, or I might have something that may help you with that. Why don't we connect? I know you're busy right now, and there's people behind me. I was like, but why don't we connect on social media, and maybe we can touch base later on, and maybe what I have might be a good fit for you or not. She goes, no, you know what? Here's my number. She like pulled up the receipt thing. She put her number. She's like, call me. Right? So it can happen anywhere, and it can happen in your circle, right? It can happen in your inner circle. It can happen outside. But I want to be very clear with one thing, you guys. If you feel you don't have enough people to talk to, then you're not seeing a bigger picture here, because you are not going to grow a massive empire. And I know we don't talk about money, it might be cliche, but you're not going to grow a multi-million-dollar business if you're just looking at your inner circle. That's straight up the point here. You will not grow a massive business that way. You have got to look outside of that inner circle. You have got to look out. You go out, I see opportunities everywhere. I'm at the grocery store, I see opportunities there. I'm at FedEx, I see an opportunity there. You know, I'm going to the doctor's office, I see an opportunity there. I mean, for crying out loud, my daughter's pediatrician became a coach. She didn't do much, but she became a coach. The pediatrician became a coach. Why? Because I share with a passion what I have in my hands. And I'm so confident. I mean, I'm so confident about what I have that you don't want it? Okay, that's fine. But I know that this can change your life, right? And right now, we're about to sign up a pastor who has massive influence in the San Bernardino Valley, right? She's like a preacher. When she preaches to thousands. Why? Because you find ways to connect your story with those people. So I want to encourage you today, like you, Eric, I feel like I was all scattered. I don't think I came to the point that Jamil wanted me to go to. I just want to encourage you guys today to share your story boldly, to get good at finding the different angles. Why are you coaching? Why are you here today? Why are you still here after a year later? What has coaching done in your life? What has losing that weight done in your life? What has a healthy mindset done to you in your life? What has being a part of this amazing community done for you in your life? What are all these things? Because these are all touching points that you can share about your story. You're not just going to talk about, well, I lost 28 pounds and I don't know what else to say. No, if you're just seeing this about weight loss, you are missing the point of this program, my friend. This is a lifestyle program and anybody and everybody can use what we have. You just have to get really good at finding the connection with that person. But hey, you have a story about your healthy mind. You have a story about your finances. You have a story about your weight loss. You have a story about your community. You have a story about how you're becoming the better version of yourself. You have all these stories. I want to encourage you to get good at sharing every part of your story, because there is going to be tons of people out there that can benefit from one thing or another thing in our program. So anyway, my friend, that is what I have for you today. I'm taking it back to you in San Diego.
Thank you. You guys, how you feeling after that? Everybody just take a deep breath real fast. Just, whew. Priscilla, what's great is sometimes it don't even matter what you say. We just feel like we should go run out and like just tell the world something. I don't even know what it is. Just like I bought dinner last night. I don't know, but you just get fired up. I appreciate it so much. But so many nuggets. 2 or 3 things in the chat and the comments that you just took away from Priscilla Allen. I mean, if you're not awake after that, so I don't know, man. One of the things I do want to tell you, when you're out and about, and I know we're all moving around a little bit more now, depending on where you are around the country, one of the things that helps me and helped me from day one is just have your phone here. Everyone have a phone. Hopefully you have an iPhone and not an Android, but I digress. Just kidding. I know Nick and Kirsten LaValle are going to kill me. Have an album on your phone. Maybe I should not show you that album. It's not like whatever. It's not a racy album, but have like a progress picture album, which you see there. And then that way, when you're out and about and someone says, you say, how you doing? And they say, I'm doing great. And they ask you, how are you doing? I'm like, man, I feel amazing. My energy is up. I mean, I've never felt as good in like the last 15 years. I just dropped 30 pounds in about 6 weeks. You want to see? And then you just take them straight to the album. And then you could just click on the picture and be like, hey, man, that was me like just a couple months ago. And they're like, wow, really? That was you? You're like, yeah. They say, how'd you do it? And I'm like, man, I thought you would never ask. See how easy that is? It's so simple. So if you don't have an album on your phone that you can just easily go to while you're out, then make sure to do that. Another thing that you want to do is every single time you get on these trainings, you want to be snapping pictures and videos and posting them on your Facebook and on your Instagram and Facebook stories. Don't let one training go by to where you're not utilizing it to market part of your story. And I think that's a great segue to Eric Boyette, who's going to talk to us about social media and how to utilize your story to impact people's lives. So Eric, are you there?
Oh, I'm here. I'm still trying to meditate. I'm trying to get recentered after Priscilla. I spend the morning trying to calm down because Jamil wants me to talk. And then when I achieve that, Priscilla comes on, and now I'm just, woo, ready to roll. So one thing I loved about what Priscilla said was she talked about authenticity. And she really talked about it not being about her. So I wanted to explore that a little bit. Like, the best thing you can do with your story is to be authentic about it. Like, do not be trying to make a fairy tale story and make it sound better than it is, or make the way you used to be sound better than you were. Like, really be real about it. That's where you're going to have an impact with people. Because just like she said, it's not about you. You don't need to have the best story in the world. You just need to have your story, and you need to tell it in a way that is real. That's what makes people listen. It doesn't matter. I can come up here and tell you I lost 400 pounds. It'd be a lie. I want to be real with you. I'm going to tell you guys my story. But first, I want you to understand that your authentic story plus social media is the greatest tool in history for massive impact. In history. I am not exaggerating, guys. I don't know how many of you guys like to watch documentaries, watch about these people in the past and all the things they did. I just watched Hamilton the other day. I mean, oh my gosh, right? Like Alexander Hamilton. And all this guy had was a pen. How many people would see that? How many pamphlets could he put out? Not many. But now here we are at our fingertips, on our phone, at all times, a social media platform that we get for free, where we can tell our story, we can broadcast authentically to people all over the place. We can have up to 5,000 friends, and every one of them can have 5,000 friends. Things you do can go viral. You make things public, they can spread so far beyond what you even imagine. So when you look at these people in history and what they've done, just understand that they had way less tools than we have right now. And we have this really noble goal of helping everyone and really making a difference in history for ourselves. So just to give you guys a little bit of my background, 2 years ago, I was what I thought was just a typical working dad. I was 282 pounds, 5'10". More importantly, I was in the rat race. I go to work, I try to figure out how not to work at work, get a snack, work some more, go to lunch, come back, get in a coma from that, work some more, wish I could be home. I'm working more hours, come home, maybe on time to see my kids get to bed. A lot of times what I'm ashamed of is that I would eat terribly. I would eat terribly at work. I'd get off work and I'd go to a drive-through and have a meal, then come home and have another meal, because I was ashamed of what I was doing. But I didn't know how to change it. I was just living in this haze where my kids had this dino, dad and name only. That's what I was. I'd be here on the weekends, but even then, I wasn't really there. I wasn't present. I was on the couch. I'd be drinking beer, too lazy, not feeling good enough to do anything with them. This was my Groundhog Day, you guys, just like rinse and repeat all the time, all the time. I was lucky in the fact that my health started going downhill, and I got this wake-up call when I started having headaches. I'd already had some things. I was on medications for all kind of stuff, but I had a headache one day that sent me to the hospital. I didn't need to be in. It was urgent care, actually. It didn't send me there, but I thought I needed to go because I thought I was having a stroke or something. I didn't know what was happening. Doctor said, this is just your hypertension. This is all from your weight. I've been telling you for years you got to do something. Also, just for fun, that's when they told me I was pre-diabetic. Start giving yourself a shot in the stomach every day. So that's really what woke me up. So thank goodness that happened to me. Like, that's what woke me up. And I realized I got 4 kids. This is not what I want to be at 40 years old. I jumped on this plan. It changed everything for me. I'll keep the health part kind of brief for our purposes here, but I lost 80 pounds and my wife lost 86 pounds. It changed everything and how I feel and about how I show up in life every day. As if that wasn't impactful enough, I then became a health coach. And I started helping some people. This is what happens when you get authentic, guys. I did not plan on this. I wanted to just run right through this, but like, do it. It's okay. Especially, you know, when you're putting it out there, do not be afraid to do this. Coaching came along. I started helping a few other people. And good grief, I mean, that just turned into something amazing. I ultimately left my job. I'm a health coach full-time now. I've not only helped many, many people with their health, but I've also helped many people start their own businesses and start down the path that I'm on to where they have more financial freedom and more time freedom. If you know me on Facebook, my time freedom is just ridiculous. I get out, I have all these hobbies now, photography, kayaking, like things I never even thought I wanted to do. And now I get to model that for my kids. So that's where we are right now. That's my story. And when you tell your story, I want you to do that. I want you to go back in time, whether it was 1 week ago or 10 years ago, and I want you to put people where you were. Not where you told everybody you were, not where you think would make a better story, not leaving out the parts that are embarrassing or sad or might make you cry while you're telling it. That's okay. Get that stuff out there. And then understand, of course, that your story is going to change along the way. Okay, so if you just have a 1 week story, that's okay. Yeah, everybody I know on plan, they lost several pounds the first week, so they've already got a story. Your story was even before that. I've decided I was going to make a change, and here I am, and I'm making a change. This is a story. Is it going to be better later? Yeah, probably so, but who cares? Right now, it's going to connect with who it needed to connect with. Okay, if everybody's story was perfect and the same and everyone lost 300 pounds and quit their job the day they became a coach, then we would all sound the same. But there's someone out there with a story of their own that's not going so well, and they're going to see yours and you're going to have an impact on them. So share that, understand the importance of that. How do you get to the point where you can tell your story well? Practice. Like, that's all there is to it. Practice it to yourself, practice it to your spouse, practice it to the dog, practice it while you're driving. Tell it, record yourself, go live. It's okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Your story is important and it's relatable to someone. When we talk about practice, some people are like, that just sounds crazy. That sounds like work, Eric. You know, I don't know about that. And what I like to say is, if you had a job, a lot of you raised your hands, you want to leave a job. So I know a lot of you either have a real day job or you used to. So if your boss said, hey, you learn a skill and I'm going to double your income, would you spend a little time working on that? What if your job said, what if your boss said, learn this skill and we're going to make your yearly income into your monthly income? Would you spend a few minutes a day working on that? I think I would. And here's the cool thing, guys. That's not hypothetical. That's the job you have right now. Congratulations. You already got hired. You're in here. You're running your own business. This is your potential to do. So take a little time, learn that skill, make that work for you. This is an amazing tool when we talk about social media. You get to broadcast your story. You get to have conversations. You get to hone in on the needs of people when you're having those conversations, understand how your story can relate to them. It's just so important that you get it out there. Do not hesitate. Go and talk. Whether that's a little post with a little piece of a story. Sometimes my story is this. It's just a picture of me. It's like, this is me before plan. This is me now. Any questions? That's a form of a story. Sometimes I go on and I tell what I just told, but I get way in the deep. I get real deep, and I'll talk for 20 minutes on a live. Sometimes I'm leaving a message for someone through Facebook Messenger, and I'm like, hey, I saw your post about the struggle you're having with your swollen ankles or the health problems that you had. I just wanted to share with you kind of where I was a little while ago. And I tell them my story in less than a minute because that's what I get. Tell the story. When I'm out on a kayak, I'm doing something like that, I'm still putting my story in there. I'm going to take my audience back to where I would have been 2 years ago. On a Wednesday at 11 a.m., I'd probably be in an operations meeting, wishing I could get the heck out of there. Wonder what my kids are doing. That's your story. Lace it into everything because you have this amazing tool. You have this captive audience. So use your page to broadcast that story as far as you can. Deliver the aspects that even if you're not talking to someone right, just one-on-one, a lot of times I'm thinking about one person. Because if you know one guy who's struggling with weight, or one woman who drinks too much wine in the evening, or one father who wishes he could spend more time with his parents, for every one of those people, there's many with similar stories. So talk to that person. I mean, focus on them, not a message to them, but like focus on them while you're telling your story to your audience. That is your job, folks. Whether you have 30 seconds or whether you have 30 minutes, share your story. And if you think that your story is not worthy, then you're not listening to what I said, to what Priscilla said, to what Erica said, to what Karen's about to tell you. You are worthy. You're wrong about your story if you don't think it's amazing. And secondly, even if it is not so fantastic, which it is, but even if you have told yourself it's not, you get to write the next chapter. Make it more interesting. Zone in on your health. Zone in on your business and turn your story from what sounds awesome to a literal miracle. You can do that. Share your story. Share it today. What's stopping you? That's all I got for you guys.
Oh my good grief, you guys. Lucky for all of us, you get Eric back tomorrow too for training. My gosh, put 2 or 3 takeaways in the chat in the comments. So good. Tell your story. Even tear up like that. I love that. Tears in this business is so good. You know, your story, I said, is your most powerful tool. It really is. And so we want to practice. We want to get really good with telling that. So, you know, about 8 years ago, a woman started working with me, and she started working with me and teaching me how to tell my story over the phone. And I got really, really good at it. And I didn't have too many goals, but one of my goals was at least 10 people a day. I was going to pick up the phone and I was going to tell them my story. And then I was going to go walk the beach and get massages and go to yoga, which I did. So I want to bring on my good friend, my mentor, my coach, Presidential Director Karen Elstrom, to teach us how do we tell our story with actually using this historical tool called a telephone.
Thank you so much. I do need to start my timer because you know how I just will go on and on here, and I was waiting and it disappeared. There we go. Okay, so picking up the phone. Put a 2 in the chat when you heard that. You kind of had a little mini meltdown or thought, oh my gosh, really? If you feel like, whoa, I really have to pick up the phone, that is so difficult. So look at all those 2s. Okay, you guys, you're going to feel totally different by the end of this today, because this is how you're going to build your business. Another tool. So when I started coaching almost 11 years ago, I just did what my coach, Kim Fisk, told me to do. She was really successful and had only been coaching for 2 years. And I wanted to be successful too. So I duplicated what she was doing. And this is what she asked me. And I want to ask you these questions as well. So just answer these questions. She's like, Karen, what are you excited about? I thought, well, I'm really excited. I've lost 50 pounds. I have more energy and I'm feeling amazing. Well, there's your story, or at least the beginning of it, a good start. Don't make it difficult. Then the next question is, she said, who are you going to tell? Well, everybody I know. Yes, that's your contact list. What are you going to do? What are you going to say? Well, I'm going to get the word out to every single person on my list. This is how I started building my business 11 years ago, using the phone to share my story and get the word out about what I was doing. That's what we did back then. We didn't know much, but we knew if you wanted to build a huge business, you got on the phone, because it is just impossible to reach everyone through social media. And you get to have real voice-to-voice conversations and the person you're speaking with can hear your energy and what you're excited about, because you do sound excited, right? So just for fun, I want you to grab your phones, check your contacts, swipe up to the very end, and post in your chat, how many contacts do you have? Post it in the chat. How many contacts do you have? What if 1 out of every 10 of these contacts becomes a client or a coach? How many clients and coaches do you have sitting in your phone? Look at this, you guys. Look at all these contacts. Do the math. Do you think it's worth it? I'd say. And you have these numbers for a reason. You have had some sort of relationship with them at some point. They don't have to be your best friend. They don't have to be anything other than a person that you're going to reach out to. Let's take this another step. Who do these contacts know? Holy smokes, look at that, 2365 I just saw, over 2,000 contacts. And who do these people know? They all have mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, best friends, coworkers. Are you getting the picture of what is possible? This is how, as Eric said, you turn your yearly income into your monthly income. So let me tell you how I shared my story over the phone, over and over when I was beginning my coach journey. And I didn't know much, but I was excited about what was happening to me. And I wanted to tell everyone. This is what I said. Remember to smile when you're calling. Hey, Katie, this is Karen Elstrom. How are you? I have a quick question. Do you have a minute? Of course she's going to say yes. Hey, do you want to hear something really exciting? The answer is yes. What do you think she's going to say? Who doesn't want to hear something exciting? And you sound excited, right? So I don't know if you know this or not, but for the last 15 years or so, I really struggled with my weight. I had no energy. I hated how I looked, and honestly was beginning to feel hopeless that this is how I was going to be forever. I tried so many programs and wasn't successful at any till now. In the last 20 weeks, I've lost 50 pounds. I feel fantastic. My energy is through the roof. I've dropped 4 pant sizes, and I feel like a different person. And now I'm helping other people to be healthy as well. I just want to get the word out about what I'm doing. It has made such a difference for me. You know people I don't. So what I'm asking is this. May I send you some information and a little bit about what I do? What do you think they're going to say? Yes. While you're looking at that information, if you think of someone who is maybe struggling with their weight, would like to be healthier, wants to have better eating habits, maybe they struggle with low energy, would you be willing to share my information with them? What do they say? Yes, they will. Thank you so much. You know, that's all I need. And what would be the best email address for you? They tell me. Would it be okay if I kept you updated occasionally on my program? Sure. That would be awesome. And hey, are you on Facebook? Let's connect there. I love having Facebook friends. Of course, they say sure. And would it be okay if I gave you a quick call tomorrow to make sure you got the info? Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help. This is what I did over and over and over. This is one of the ways I built my business of clients early on. I was very client focused when I first started coaching. A couple of things about my example that I want to point out. You want to get right to the point of the call when you call someone. Don't chit chat like, hey, how are you? Haven't talked to you in a long time. Because they might be wondering why you're calling. They might think that's a little odd. And then after chatting for a bit, you say, hey, oh, by the way, now the person's thinking, oh, that's why you wanted to talk to me. So get right to the point. And I had a lot of people like that because I called a lot of my high school classmates, and heaven knows that was a long time ago. So I hadn't talked to these people for a long time, but I addressed it right away. Hey, Kim, I know we haven't talked in forever, but I am so excited about what's happening to me that I am calling everyone I know. Then they feel like, oh, okay. In fact, in my mind, they would have been really disappointed if I didn't include them. See how your mind shifts? And you make it into a positive. Once I had the shift to a sponsoring mindset, now my calls were around coaching, and my story has evolved to my coach story. My original story was weight loss, as I had more of a diet mentality. What I really love now is all of our training, we're very sponsoring, we have a sponsoring mindset. So Optavia has given me both financial freedom and time freedom. Who doesn't want that? Sometimes they don't know that they want it yet, but it really doesn't matter. I share it anyway. When I talk to some of my friends I haven't talked to in a while, my conversation is around, I really want to share with you what I'm doing. I don't want you to be upset with me later when you notice the freedom that we have created in our lives through this program I teach. I really want you to have the opportunity to have it too. So I really believe that our story is our most powerful tool. You've heard this over and over. Our story can change lives. You'll want to take the time to really connect your story with emotion, and your story will evolve as you grow in your business, as you've heard from everyone that has spoken before me. And after almost 11 years of coaching, my story has definitely evolved, but several things have remained the same. I always share my story with energy, passion, excitement, and honestly, truly from my heart. I have learned that people are buying you and what you are excited about. They don't really care so much about the facts or how you heard about the program. We all have a really unique story, and we want to learn to tell it really, really well. If you are not excited about your story, guess what? No one else will be either. So practice it. You heard this from everyone before me. Practice it out loud. I say to your family, to your dog, in the mirror, video yourself, watch it. Does it inspire you? The greatest thing I think about our business is we have the opportunity to get better and better in every area. If it's not working, do it again and do better. All we have to do is practice. And you want to become a really good listener. Listen to what is missing for people. Listen to where there is a struggle or a pain. Listen to where they are not feeling fulfilled or satisfied. Listen to their hopes and dreams. You have a solution for them, and you can share it with your story. There are so many ways that Optavia has changed, enhanced, and blessed my life. Too many to share in my story. It would make my story like way too long. But as I'm listening to people talk, whether I'm on the phone or in person, I will share the parts of my story that best serve and connect with them and what they're looking for. It could be something that I rarely share. What I share now is very different than what I shared when I first started coaching. I am always open, and you heard this already, vulnerable. I share my challenges and my struggles. I share that I'm a work in progress. It makes you real and human. I share all of that with my story. So be flexible with your story. Share things about your story that are more relevant, that connects more with the person you are speaking with. If you do not have anything in your story that you can connect well with that person, share someone else's story that is more relatable to them. We get to hear so many stories of other coaches, and this is why. We want to hear and learn because we meet people that we can share their story that will relate to their story. The more you connect with people, the more opportunities you have to share your story. I'm always looking for ways. I plan to get into conversations, and you heard this from Priscilla, it's so true. I plan to get in conversations with most people I come into contact with, standing in a line at a store, server in a restaurant, flight attendant, seatmate on a plane. With social distancing, some of these are a little more challenging, but you can always find a way to connect and share your story. I always like to infuse little parts of my story to leave them wanting more. I had someone call me, and I've told this story before, but I love it so much, and I do this a lot. They called me about an insurance plan I had, and I was getting ready to make my shake in the blender when she called. And I said, just a second, I need to finish this. Buzz right with my bullet. Then I said, I'm so sorry I had to blend up my shake. I eat every couple hours with this amazing program I'm on, and it was time to eat. But you know what? I certainly can't complain because I've lost 50 pounds doing it. She was like, what? I need to lose more than 50 pounds. Guess what? She became a client. She lost over 100 pounds. I often ask people that call me to sell me something if they like what they do. Trust me, most do not. And here's the thing, it really doesn't matter if they do or they don't. You are just getting the word out, and you never know when someone will be looking for you. And if you don't ask, well, you already know the answer if we don't ask, right? So I just want to say that if I do not have an opportunity to share my story with a new person that I meet, and I'm out and about, or I should say, if I do have an opportunity to share my story, if I like them and we have a connection, I will do my best to make sure to connect with them on social media. So knowing that they'll see my page. and I'll have another opportunity to share with them. You don't want to feel like every person you run into that you have this agenda to share your story, but you want to build a relationship with this person and then bring them into your auditorium, as Priscilla says. And I love that. And that's what I say too, because you will have the opportunity to share your story and little parts of you in your social media that they will see and probably talk to later. But probably, it's interesting. I think most every person I have friended over time like this, a restaurant, people I've just run into and started conversations, most all of them have become clients. I have a few tips to share, but I'm out of time, so I'm going to post them in the group. But I'll close with this. Be yourself. Share from your heart, because your story is truly the key that can unlock someone else's prison.
I love that. Thank you so much. Your story is truly the key that can unlock somebody's prison. And you know how we know that? Thank you again, Karen Elstrom. And you guys put 2 or 3 takeaways that you took from Karen. I think for us to kind of look at it, how many of you guys have been affected by OptiV in a good way? Have had your life touched? Have had your life changed in some capacity? Are you better now than you were before you found this program?
It's 8 o'clock.
If that's you, then let us know. Raise your hand, say me, say, oh my gosh, yes, whatever it is that you want to say. In order for you to be here, someone probably told their story or shared their story. Right? So when Karen says your story is the key that can unlock someone's prison, you guys, I look at where my life is at now, and it's so fascinating to me how much can change in less than a decade. So crazy. And that all happened from my coach, Becky Flamong, sharing her story. And I was actually upset with her for sharing her story with you. See how egregious that is and how crazy people are? I was upset with her. I was like, oh my gosh, you're bugging me. And now I text them quite often and I just say thank you. I think I just texted Becky and Karen a couple nights ago, and I just say thank you for sharing your story and taking the time to work with me. It's amazing. So has today been fulfilling for you? Has it been fruitful? Do you feel like you got more tangible tools to take out there so you can go plant your seeds and get your avocado trees? So let's talk about some action steps, because this is where the miracle happens. That ain't working. Let's see if I can actually share my screen and if it will go there. Okay, it's tripping, hold on. Let's see, will it do this? I was just practicing with this as Karen was speaking. Oh. All right, let me see here. Let me, what I'll do, I kind of really want you to see him though. Let me see if I can do one thing real fast. Let's see if this works. Maybe I just close this. You guys stick with me, it's gonna get better, I promise you. Hold on, what's that song? Hold on. Let's see if this works. Told you, man. Just can't stop somebody who's got their mind made up. I mean, it's just how it is. All right, action steps, my friends. Okay, so day 2 action steps. You guys ready for this? Say, I am ready. Action step number 1 is suspend all fear and thinking, my friends, and just go. Again, okay, we had Erica on. We have Priscilla on. We have Eric on. We have Karen on. They just gave us a whole bunch of good stuff. Now our job is to go implement it. It's no point of being an extremely smart person unless you put this stuff into action and activity. And so Erica was right. What holds us back is our own abilities to think. So what I'm saying is stop thinking, suspend all fear and thinking and just go. You don't have to think about this. It's not rocket science. Just go. Stop thinking about it. Remember the diagram I put up? Just go. We got to win the day. Where are your win the day cards? Let's go. Tomorrow I'm going to introduce you to a new factor. Some of you guys know what that factor is. But today, let's go win the day. You decide what's going to win the day for you, and you go and win it. Okay? Stare at your lines today. Put on your glasses and stare. And then stare and stare and stare and visualize whose names are going to fill up these lines today. Write this down, what I'm about to say. I don't know whose name is going to fill up this line today. All I know is that somebody's name has gone down on these lines from what I do today. Let me say that again, please. This is very important. I'm telling you how to go help more people, how to bring on more clients and coaches. You have to have this mindset. Stare at your lines and say, I don't know whose name is going down on these lines. All I know is a couple names are going down based off of what I do today. That is a mindset of a winner. I don't know. All I know is somebody's going down on here today before I go to sleep. Fill up at least one line. I'm going to stretch you. Fill up 2 lines. Now make a list of 25 people that you're going to impact with your story. When I say make a list, I literally mean write down names of people that you're going to go share your story with. Today, go share your story with 5 of them. You guys still here? You getting it? Jill Francine, this making sense? Share part of your story today on social media that has nothing at all to do with weight loss. You guys got this? Share part of your story today on social media that has nothing at all to do with weight loss. Go and register. First of all, I'm going to congratulate. There was probably like 80 of you who registered yesterday. Congratulations, you guys. Thank you. Now, for all of you guys that didn't, get to it. What we waiting for? Let's go. Let's go, man. Go register for this dang event and let's rock and roll this thing. Come on, let's go. All right, so stay hip to hip with your support team over these next few days and just bug them, okay? They want to be bugged. I want to thank all of our amazing speakers today, our presenters, for taking your time out and really pouring into us today. And I want to thank all of you guys who are on and watching this playback, and for all of you guys who are going to do the work. I think that we're going to bring really valuable information, but now it's time for us to go and do it. So we talked about your story today. Go and share it. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Let's stay fired up in the groups, and let's come back tomorrow making sure that we actually won the day. Go and win the day. Do that every single day for 365 days. Watch what happens in 12 months. Appreciate you guys. Let's go run and have fun.